Comped carry guns are all the rage right now, and Springfield is leading that charge. So it's really no surprise that HS Produkt made a comped Echelon compact for the US market. Let's get into what I think about it right now. As always, let's get the specs out of the way first. The Echelon 4.0C Comp comes in at 24 ounces, has a 15-round flush fit magazine, 7.25 inches long, and right at 5 inches high before you put an optic on there. But let's talk about why it's actually interesting. The Echelon has an 18-degree grip angle, which splits the difference between Glock's 22-degree grip angle and the 1911's 13-degree grip angle. I'm far more accustomed to that 13 degrees that you get with the 1911. With the Echelon, I did know that my presentations are coming up a little bit high each time, but with a little bit of dry fire, I was able to train that out. The Echelon was 100% reliable with any ammo that I put through it, and the only issues I had were actually user-induced. Though, I will admit that I don't really feel like the compensator is doing too much unless I was pushing really high velocity plus P rounds. Shooting the Echelon is actually pretty pleasant, and I was able to stay in the optic as I was shooting longer strings of fire, though it did want to kind of roll around in my hand. The skateboard tape grip texture could stand to be a little bit more aggressive, and the grip is on the small side for my largish hands. The Echelon does come with some extra back straps, but even the largest one really didn't change much for me. Now, of course, the Echelon has a fire control group in there and you can swap in different chassis. So if I ever do revisit the Echelon series, I'm going to try and find one of the large grip modules and see if that changes those impressions. One thing that's absolutely brilliant about the Echelon is the optics mounting system. By replacing various pins in the optic cutout, you can mount RMR, Delta Point Pro, and RMSC Shield footprint optics on there. I put a Holosun EPS Carry on here, and I haven't had any issues throughout any of my firing with it. While it lacks the elegant simplicity of the Ruger RXM pin system, it still leagues better than any system that requires a plate. Having put a lot of time in with Echelons at a recent class, I found the Comped Compact to be really well mannered on the range, and after a long day, the Comp did take some of the bite out of the recoil. I was able to stay in the optic on strings of fire just fine, but I find myself wishing that the compensator would be putting in a little bit more work. The trigger is actually pretty good on this. The take-up is smooth, and then you get to the first wall where there's a little bit of crunchiness going on. Once that's done, you get about 3 to 4 millimeters of travel before you get ignition. Now, on reset, it's fairly smooth and you don't have to go through that crunchy bit again. I was able to get some pretty good accuracy out of the Echelon and was stacking rounds at even 15 yards with it, even though I'm clearly not the best pistol marksman out there. If you're suffering accuracy issues with the Echelon, it's probably the user and not the gun. The magazine release is easy to reach and magazines eject enthusiastically. The slide release is also prominently placed and easy to reach if you have stubby thumbs. Now, if I was running the EDC for everyday carry, I'd probably trim the last little portion of that slide release off, because I did have a couple of instances where the Echelon didn't go into slide lock when it was empty. Now, adjusting my grip slightly also fixed this. Overall, I don't think you're going to have any problems with the controls on the Echelon. There is a ledge for the support hand thumb to rest on, but it's a little too wedge-like, and I would like it to be cut deeper and more prominently, like that of a Shadow Systems. That way you can actually get some leverage off of it and do some work with it. Overall, the ergonomics on the Echelon stack up pretty well, and you can run this gun well and not feel like you're fighting it the whole day. The aspect about the Echelon that I think is going to be most divisive is going to be the aesthetics. Now, it's got a very angular look with deep slide serrations that gives it the vibe of something from a sci-fi game or movie, and I love that, but I can definitely appreciate how some people aren't going to dig it. Now, Springfield absolutely loves their outlined U-notch rear sight, and I really can't stand it. Now, it's leagues better than the stock Glock sight with its outline on there, but for some reason, my subconscious just wants to be way more interested in that white U-notch in the rear than the front sight. For me, I'd much prefer the 3-dot variant. That being said, if you do get an Echelon, you're probably going to get an optic with it, and you'll never worry about those sights too much. In my last few days with the Echelon, I've really come to like it. The sci-fi aesthetic absolutely works for me, and if I had it issued to me, I wouldn't complain too much. Now, for my own money, I'm probably going to choose a different system, but if you're rocking an Echelon, I'm not going to knock you at all. And the Echelon is moving up in my list of suggested pistols for people. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you. The support that I've received as I've started the Upspin project has been overwhelming. Go ahead and leave a comment and like, and follow the link tree in the description to get to Facebook and X, where I post memes that will probably disqualify me from future employment, and also news and other reviews that I do. Also, subscribe so I can fill up your time with more content like this.